Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a Christian community whose origins go way back. We're talking 52 AD, right here in India.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't, just some dusty history lesson. It's a living story.
Mm-hmm.
Identity, resilience, some really fascinating splits.
Yeah.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into the intertwined histories of the Malankara and Chaldean Syrian churches.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how you have this single apostolic foundation, right, linked to St. Thomas.
Right, the Apostle Thomas.
Exactly. But it leads to these really distinct branches. And they're shaped by, unique cultural mixes, external pressures, all sorts of things. So our mission, really, is to understand how they diverged and, maybe more surprisingly, the attempts they made over the centuries to bridge those divides.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. These St. Thomas Christians, initially they had strong ties with the Church of the East over in Persia, using the East Syriac Rite.
That's right.
But then the Portuguese show up,
Yeah.
1498, and they've got this goal: bring everyone under Latin Catholic authority.
Yeah, and this really came to a head with the Synod of Diamper in 1599.
Diamper, okay.
It was, a pretty forceful Latinization. A systematic effort, really, to impose Roman Catholic authority, Latin customs.
Yeah.
They even ordered the destruction of ancient Syriac liturgical books.
Destroyed their books. Wow. That's a direct assault on their identity, isn't it?
Absolutely. Imagine the shock, the sense of violation, and the historical sources show, pretty overwhelming resistance to it.
Right. And the community did push back massively. In 1653, there's the famous Cunan Cross Oath.
A huge moment.
A large group publicly vowing to resist this foreign domination. Just picture that scene. A public stand against this powerful authority. And this resistance, it fundamentally changed things, led to the first big permanent schism.
Mm-hmm.
So one group, the Puthun-Kudakar, they become the Malankara Church. They look for support elsewhere.
Yeah, they turned to the Syriac Orthodox Church of Antioch, and as a result, they adopted the West Syriac Rite.
Okay, so West Syriac from Malankara.
Exactly. And conversely, you have the Chaldean Syrian Church. They represent those who held on to their history, their East Syriac Rite, that connection with the Assyrian Church of the East. It was a conscious choice to continue that distinct lineage through all this upheaval.
So beyond these, big historical moments and splits, what did this actually mean for their core beliefs, their worship day to day?
Well, if we connect it to the sort of bigger theological picture, the Malankara Church adopted Miaphysitism, which emphasizes Christ's divine and human natures as being united in one single nature, indivisibly.
Right.
The Chaldean Syrian Church, though, adheres to Diophysitism, so acknowledging two distinct natures, divine and human, within the one person of Christ.
Two natures, one person.
Exactly. Think of it maybe like describing water. One way emphasizes it's just H2O, a single unified thing. The other it's made of hydrogen and oxygen, distinct components, but they still form one entity, water, both trying to grasp the same truth, just different language, different frameworks.
That's actually a really helpful analogy.
And the fascinating thing is, historically, these were seen as huge, irreconcilable divides.
Right.
But modern dialogues, they increasingly suggest it's often more about terminology, how you define the terms.
That really makes you think, doesn't it? How much conflict comes down to language. So, for you listening, the most visible difference would probably be in their worship services.
Definitely.
The Malankara Church uses the West Syriac Rite. The Liturgy of St. James is a key example.
Mm-hmm. While the Chaldean Syrian Church uses the ancient East Syriac Rite, like the beautiful divine liturgy of Saints Adai and Mari, very different feel.
So despite these deep differences rooted in history and theology, were there ever any attempts to, come back together?
Oh, yes. Intriguing ones. Even after the Cunan Cross Oath, some Malankara leaders actually appealed to Rome for reconciliation.
Really? After resisting Latinization?
Yeah, but those attempts ultimately failed. Rome insisted on maintaining the Latin hierarchy, which was a non-starter for many. And it raises that question, doesn't it? How much did these external pressures, these internal struggles over jurisdiction, like the Malankara Church wanting autocephaly, basically self-governance.
Right, wanting to run their own affairs.
Exactly. How much did all that derail potential unity? But then, surprisingly, in the late 19th, early 20th centuries, you see discussions happening between Malankara and Chaldean leaders.
What kind of discussions?
Aimed at what they called unusual cooperation. Things like maybe shared theological training or discussing a united front on social issues. A pragmatic desire for unity, even with the history.
So where do things stand today? Are there active talks?
Well, there aren't really prominent formal negotiations happening directly between them for full union right now,
Right.
but both churches are very active in broader ecumenical dialogues with Catholics, with other Orthodox churches.
And those dialogues have made progress.
Huge strides, actually, especially in clarifying those old Christological misunderstandings we talked about, increasingly recognizing them as often just differences in terminology rather than fundamental faith.
Really, the journey of both these churches is just this incredible testament to resilience, isn't it? Even amidst schism. They share that common apostolic heritage from St. Thomas, and they both hold the Nicene Creed. That's their universal faith.
What really stands out to me listening to all this is how that deeper understanding, even if it takes centuries, can uncover common ground, where people once only saw these massive, insurmountable divides.
Absolutely.
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, if these deeply ingrained theological differences can eventually be seen as largely terminological? Well, what other historical misunderstandings, what other labels we put on each other might be overcome if we just kept talking, if we were willing to look past the historical baggage?